lot of things that we did in Google, Facebook, and also in the startup that I work now is to think of hiring diverse intern candidates, and then make sure that this talent, if it's relevant, right, that this talent will stay in the company.
You manage the diversity recruitment process at WhatsApp. Can you describe this process?
Yeah, so WhatsApp, it was an interesting experience, as I was the first recruiter for WhatsApp London. They started to move their teams, their tech teams, 5 years ago to London, and I was really lucky to be their first recruiter on ground, and it was an interesting experience because it was kind of to be the middle person between WhatsApp and Facebook, as WhatsApp was still kind of operating as a small startup within a big company. So it was an opportunity to kind of, establish things from ground. And from the beginning, it was really important for the first engineers, the head of engineering WhatsApp London, to think on diversity and what we should do in order to make sure that we are bringing diverse talent into WhatsApp London. So it was a lot around strategic thinking and how we should approach that. So one thing that we did is to plan an event, plan for diversity hire for WhatsApp. So we did a few dinners with the WhatsApp engineers in London, and we invited a few quite senior diversity female engineers from the headquarters to come for a few days in London. And we did a few dinners and invited female engineers, diversity talent to join those dinners. It was quite unique because it was an opportunity for the candidates or the potential candidates to come and really have those like one-on-one conversations with the engineers to really understand, and to ask questions around the cultures in WhatsApp London, around the career opportunities. So we did those kind of projects around small, very intimate dinners. We also did in the beginning, we did a big event. And it's always a question, like when you are doing diversity planning, you are kind of, you can get responses from female, hey, I don't want you to approach me just because I'm a female engineer. I want you to approach me because of my experience. So you need to be very sensitive when you are doing those events and when you are kind of thinking on your outreach and how you are presenting the event. So we also did a big event just to promote the brand of WhatsApp in London, and we made sure that we are inviting also candidate that can, like a general candidate, but also made sure that we are inviting a diversity candidate to those events. And during those conversations, we had a few talks that were more around the culture of WhatsApp, how important it is for us to hire diverse talent, because the product is basically, people from all over the world are using WhatsApp, right? So it's really important that the engineers or the people that work on that product will come from a diverse background.
How should employers factor diversity into their recruiting?
So I think it's really, it should be, I don't think that it should be one thing that we do once in a month, right? It should be in the core values, and something that is always in the back of your mind. It's something that you always need to think of, because it's hard. For example, I'm now working with a few startups, and it's hard after you hired, for example, your the majority of the software engineering team, and you didn't think of diversity in the beginning, and now you are in a stage that you have 15 male engineers. It will be super hard to start to change that, because hey, for example, a female engineer is interviewing and she's meeting only male engineers, I'm not sure, it will be hard to convince, a candidate from a diverse background to join that team. So I think it's something that founders or like hiring managers should constantly think of and plan in advance. And another thing is that from my experience, it's easier to attract diverse talent in when they are in their first stage in their career. So a lot of things that we did in Google, Facebook, and also in the startup that I work now is to think of hiring diverse intern candidates, and then make sure that this talent, if it's relevant, right, that this talent will stay in the company. A lot of research show that it's really hard for example, for female engineer to move to another company once she's already established her career in one company, and it's easier to kind of recruit in the initial stages of the career. So I think it's something that it needs to be kept in everything that you do as a hiring manager or as a recruiter, manager or founder. Even like think about the way that you write your job descriptions, the way that you think of your interview panel who are meeting with the candidate, the way that you are presenting your culture, the working hour, the way that the company is operating. So it's constantly, you need to think of how you're including people from diverse backgrounds. And also I can add to that I can say from my experience as a recruiter lead, I'm making sure that my team is dedicated, they have dedicated time in their calendar for source for diverse candidates, because it's easier to kind of source for candidates, with more general background, like more typical background. And you need to really have this attention when you are sourcing and looking for the diverse candidates.
What are your top tips for retaining talented staff members?
Yeah, super important question, especially in the market today, right? And especially for startups, I think it's easier for big companies to retain their talent because there are a lot of opportunities to grow your career. And for startups, you can see that there is a lot of movement, right? Like after 1 year, you can see a lot of people moving to the next stage. And it's a shame because it needs so much effort to hire the super strong person, and also all the time, effort, and until a person is kind of really knows what they're doing and understands the company and so on. I think it's to think about career development. I read from time to time, I read a lot around recruiting and how to retain, and people are usually staying in a company not because a bump in their salary, it's important, right? But it's not the main reason. The main reason is career development and good relationship with your manager. So I'm trying, now I have a few projects in my current company that we work with the HR department, and we are building one training for managers, how to manage your team, how to support your team, how to make sure that your members of your team have enough support, they understand the career development opportunities and so on. We also now did a career movement site within the company to make sure that people, first of all, when the person is kind of, I'm bored, I want to look for the next opportunity, we'll search, and it will be super easy to search the opportunities that you have inside the company. So we do that. And we also, I'm a big believer, for example, it's in Google, there is 20% time project which you can, work on, it's 20% of your time on project in another team. And it's it's great because it gives you an opportunity to learn, to understand what other teams are doing and what are my opportunities to grow my career. So to sum that, I would say career opportunities, and make sure also that, you know, that the person has a good relationship with the manager, and feel just happy in their place. Yeah.